I tried building an off-grid tiny house in Hawaii, but after $40,000, all I have to show for it is this tarp, a bunch of weeds, and one big problem. So much worse than I thought it was. This is honestly overwhelming. I need to sit down. Okay. Today, I'm gonna tell you the 3 biggest mistakes I've made in the last 6 years, the one task I need to do today to get back on track, and my new plan for starting over that I really hope works. But the truth is that this land isn't just a project. It's how I was going to fix a breaking heart. I grew up here on the slopes of Mauna Loa. My family and I have been hiking and camping in this area ever since I was a kid, and it's one of my happiest places on earth. But over the years, I've watched people buy up Hawaii, trying to capture its magic only to destroy the very thing they're searching for. When I could finally afford land in 2019, I bought this parcel so I could make sure one piece of paradise would be protected. But after everything that's gone wrong, I feel like part of the problem I was trying to solve by buying this, and it honestly, it breaks my heart. Despite how gorgeous it is here, there's a huge problem, and it's basically summarized by that. I call it my tarp of shame. Even the plastic is crumbling, which is really bad. I don't want to put plastic in the ground. I feel so much shame, yet I'm putting it on the internet. It is the foundation, literal foundation of a broken dream. And it's also putting me at risk of being fined. So it's literally a nightmare. It's gotten so bad that yesterday I came to my land and it was the first time I just couldn't even be on it. And I seriously considered just selling this, breaking even, and starting from scratch. But there is just one task that could redeem all of this, and it's very simple, but it's not easy. So I have to find 3 pins in the middle of this. There's 3 tiny pins in the ground that mark the legal boundary of my property. Once I find those pins, I need to machete my way through the rainforest in a straight line, which I don't know if you can tell, it is very hard to go straight in this whole situation. Machete a straight line so that I can run a string from pin to pin, find the legal boundary, line it, and then measure from the legal boundary to the tarp of shame, because I need to find out if this is within legal limits. I've been told it's not. If it's not, I should probably sell this thing and start over. If it is, then I can at least consider what to do next. So let's get to chopping. Luckily, the first pin is really easy to find. It's right by the roadside, so I hook on the measuring tape and walk along the driveway I bulldozed a few years ago, specifically placed here so that I could easily find the boundary. Yet I somehow totally overlook this win because I'm in such a negative mindset about the work ahead. Luckily, machetes are good for releasing frustration. The challenge with this is it's clearly not straight, and there's all this really, there's so many tangly things to get stuck on, like climbing through pokey ropes. But I found the second pin. Mistake number 3 is that I let my excitement turn into overcomplication, because I didn't buy this land to settle down here. That was never my plan. My plan was to buy this land to make sure part of the land that raised me was protected, and so that this would be a house that would become an income source for me so I could buy my ultimate dream, which is a semi-sustainable, off-grid, food forest property in Hawaii where I can run retreats and teach survival and do therapy sessions. And because my dream was so big, I put all that weight into this thing that was supposed to be so simple, and my excitement smothered the flame, basically.
Anchoring pin number 2.
Luckily, one of the easiest ways to stop overcomplicating things is to go into nature. And moving from my second pin, I'm just being able to focus on one task is helping my mind and body calm down.
It came off. Okay.
I don't know that getting into nature and getting some dirt time solves all my problems, but it always makes them a little easier to handle. I'm making progress with the line, and I'm starting to enjoy the little moments of satisfaction. And that helps me be more accepting of the mistakes I've made.
My second mistake is that I tried to get ahead of the system. At the first iteration of this property was going to be a micro cabin off grid, but it cost so much just to build that I wanted to be able to insure it, so I had to get it permitted. And once I submit the permit, I was like, for sure it's going to be fine. I'm going to start building. And 6 years later, tarp of shame. So the truth is, if you want to live a life of freedom, you kind of have two options. You go like full balls to the wall, like off-grid chaos, and you have no security, or you go the middle option, which is what I'm trying to do, where you work with the system to create something more sustainable and be part of the change in the system and not just like write it off. But the problem with that is you have to be patient, and I was not, which is why I have weeds growing. It's so hard to admit. I wasn't patient enough. So I have a tarp of shame and a yard of invasive weeds and a beautiful garden I planted that it just isn't what it could be.
Despite that, my garden always teaches me something. Just do one thing at a time and keep going. Nature reminds us that slow is smooth and smooth is fast. And I arrive at the third pin. The one I marked with a pink tie 6 years ago when I first purchased the land.
It's dense, dense, dense.
I think the biggest mistake I made is just being in denial of how big a deal this is. And I'm not trying to like get rid of responsibility, but I think the truth is like when you look at YouTube videos and you look online of like how to build your own off-grid property, how to build a tiny house, people show this like whole thing that's a transformative process literally for the house owner and for the land in like a 12 or 20-minute video, and they make this transformation a transaction. And so I thought I can have this transformational experience through a few transactions, and I was so wrong. The truth, the hard truth that this land is teaching me is that if you want to live a life that's more aligned with nature and the natural pace of the world, you can't expect it to happen overnight. There's a lot of deconditioning, even I have to do as a pretty wild woman, that I just didn't recognize. I didn't recognize how much I was trying to rush this process. I didn't recognize how much I thought I could just throw money at it. And now here I am 6 years later looking at a ratty tarp and weeds taking over this thing I really wanted to protect. But I think I know how to fix it going forward.
Okay. Getting there.
It's kind of ironic that as I'm finding the physical, literal boundary of my property, I'm figuring out my own personal boundaries around this project. I'm not just running this line to find the line of my boundary. I'm running it to see if I'm willing to continue working on this or just give it up completely. Even the biggest projects with the best plans often come down to a make or break moment defined by one tiny detail. The detail here is literally the case of a few inches, and I'm pretty close to finding out if my structure is within the legal setback or not.
That almost whacked me in the face.
Just as I'm wrapping up my measurements, I stumble upon something I left here years ago. And while very small, it's giving me a much needed change of mindset.
This is actually a citronella plant that I got to help ward off mosquitoes. Keep out, keep out mosquitoes. So here's a little survival trick. You can rub it, I guess you can't see that, rub it on yourself. It smells good. This is actually helping me calm down too. Aromatherapy. But despite all the challenges of this place, there's one thing on this land that always makes me smile, and it's my special tree. It's just like perfect for climbing, and it has this amazing seat in it, look.
This tree always helps me find answers.
Let me see if I can take you up with me. Haven't been up here for a while. Gosh, this is hard. Oh, God. Getting old. Okay, here we go. Oh, yeah. Oh. Dead branch. Okay.
It's amazing what a few hours of yard work and a good tree will do for the human spirit.
Oh my gosh, I just found the cutest baby fern right there on the tree, look. See?
As I sit up here, I contemplate the measurements of my property and how big a risk it is to continue forward with this project.
It's just so good. It's so good up here. I love this tree. There are things I planted all around this property that luckily are still here and thriving, unlike my whole vibe around it. And as I walk my property today, I feel pretty clear on what needs to be different going forward.
For starters, I am going to resubmit my plans because I think I'm within the legal setback, but only an official surveyor will really be able to tell. But that's not all that needs to happen.
I was sitting in my tree and the sun came out as if reminding me not to give up. So I know what I'm gonna do. When I came here today, I was feeling honestly pretty resentful of my tarp of shame. I was feeling resentful. I was feeling like just selling this place, cutting my losses, breaking even, starting over. But I'm leaving here with humility and a clear plan of how to make this right. There's a saying here in Hawaii, ua mau ke ea o ka aina I ka pono. Ua mau ke ea o ka aina I ka pono. It means the life of the land is perpetuated in righteousness. Pono means like righteous and integrity and alignment. And I have not been pono. So here's what I'm gonna do about it. Number one, I'm gonna remind myself and you constantly that if we want something from our environment, we need to give to our environment. This is a reciprocal relationship. Number two, I am gonna do two things. One, I'm gonna do my first overnight here on the land. I've had this 6 years. I've never slept on this property. I'm gonna share that with you in a future video. You can subscribe to see. I'll give you a tour. There's some really cool features I wanna show you, but I'm gonna connect more deeply with this place. And most importantly, when I do that, I am gonna commit all of my winter break, which is like 3 weeks off school, to cleaning this place up. I'm gonna get rid of all these weeds. I am going to get rid of all the plastic that's, God, I'm so ashamed of that. Like, there's just so much stuff that's gathered up of like the dreams that they just didn't work out. And there's a lot of literal and figurative like debris and baggage here. So I'm gonna do better. Maybe that's not this epic thing, but I think it's the right thing to do. I'm really excited to share more of this with you and show you what it's really like. It's not a 20-minute time lapse. It is a huge project. So thanks for being here. Happy trails. Bye.